So with the release of patch 7.2 very, very soon, let's have a look at some of the changes that are coming to dungeons. Now, what Blizzard had already said some time ago is they're going to keep dungeons relevant throughout the expansion. They're going to sort of periodically make them a bit more difficult and give them better rewards from them, so that we don't end up with a situation where like the normal mode dungeons are completely worthless and the heroics and so on. In that mindset, the rewards are going to be increased for the equivalent sort of dungeons. So for example, you're going to have to now get item level 825 in order to be able to queue for heroic dungeons, for example, when you first level cap. But most of this is going to be concerned with Mythic and Mythic Plus dungeons, because it's very quick when you've got a character to level cap before that is the dungeon content you are doing. So what are the changes? Well, the first change is that they are going to make these dungeons more difficult. We've been used in 7.1 and 7.1.5 to push into higher and higher levels of Mythic Plus because our gear has got better and Blizzard have increased the rewards we can get from those. Now it's been not reset but pulled back. So for example, completing a Mythic Plus 10 dungeon after patch 7.2 is going to be a lot harder than completing a plus 10 before 7.2. So expect not to push to quite such high levels when the patch comes out. To give you a little bit of a taste of this, the item level of items that is going to drop from a normal Mythic dungeon is going to be 865 gear. So the gear you're going to get from the various dungeons are as follows. If you do a Mythic 2, plus 2 or 3, you're going to get 870 gear. If you get a Mythic plus 4 or 5 completed, 875. A Mythic plus 6 or 7, 880. A Mythic plus 8 or 9, 885. And a Mythic 10 plus or greater, 890. Now then, what about our weekly Mythic cash from the Order Hall? Now, first of all, I'm going to just say this now. Some of this information, obviously, is going to be pertinent just for the immediate release of 7.2. If you're watching this video and 7.2 has already been out a week, say, you can ignore this next bit. But do not open your weekly cash as soon as patch 7.2 launches. Do not. What you want to do, first of all, is on any character where you've got 35 traits, at least on your artifact weapon, complete the artifact weapon quest, get your artifact knowledge 26, and then open it. And the reason for that is this. In 7.2, you are going to get artifact power from your Mythic cache. The amount of artifact power is going to be based upon the highest level Mythic Plus dungeon you completed the week before. So the emphasis is not on doing lots and lots of Mythic Plus dungeons, as was the case before. The emphasis is on doing higher and higher Mythic Plus. So get the highest Mythic Plus dungeon you can get done before 7.2 releases. And then even after 7.2 releases, you still always, each week, want to do the highest level you can, because you are straight up going to get more artifact power from that cache. But in terms of the item from the cache, what are we going to get? Well, if you have completed a Mythic 2 as your highest level the previous week, you're going to get 875. And it increases by 5 item levels for each level of Mythic Plus till you get to, if the Mythic Plus 10 is completed, you'll get a 905 item level item. Anything above Mythic Plus 10 is not going to give you a better quality item, but it is going to give you more artifact power, so you do want to do it. Now, another couple of consequences of patch 7.2 coming in. This only applies in the few days leading up to 7.2 and when 7.2 is just released. So if you're watching this video, as I say, after 7.2 has come out, this doesn't really matter. But you're going to get a lower level keystone than you would normally expect. So here's how you get the keystones. If you complete a Mythic plus 2 to plus 8, you're going to get a level 2 keystone the following week. If you complete a Mythic 9 or 10, you get a level 3. If you complete a Mythic 11, you get a level 4. A Mythic 12, you get a level 5. 13 or 14, you get a level 6. And if you complete a Mythic plus 15, you're going to get a level 7 keystone. The other thing is Blizzard have just announced, I'm going to put a link in the description below because you won't believe it, that at the moment, just before 7.2 comes out, then to get the highest item level item, you want to be completing a plus 15. But in 7.2, it's just a plus 10. So that also applies now. If you complete a plus 10 in the week just before 7.2, which is where we are as I'm uploading this now, that will be enough to get you the highest item level item in the cache. So you might look at it and think, oh, that means I don't need to do a plus 15, doesn't it? For the item, yes, it does. However, remember what I said about artifact power. As long as you remember not to open your cache as soon as 7.2 launches, you wait till you've done that artifact weapon quest line, and you wait till you've done the AK. It doesn't take long, by the way, and you wait till you got that AK 26 unlocked. Then you open it, you'll get your artifact power, and the higher item Mythic Plus you've completed, the better that artifact power will be. And we are in an artifact power grind again. As soon as 7.2 goes out, you want to be getting that artifact power. And Blizzard have said that this is intended to be a major source of artifact power. So what else is happening with regards getting artifact power from Mythic Plus dungeons? Well, one problem we've had up to this point is that all the Mythic Plus dungeons give the same amount of artifact power depending upon the level you do. So obviously it's in your interest to do a dungeon that you can complete really quickly, such as, oh, I don't know, Maw of Souls. And it's not at all in your interest to be completing a longer dungeon, such as, say, Halls of Valor or Blackrook Hold. Now that's changing. The dungeons that are intended to take you longer, it doesn't matter how long it actually takes you to do them, but the dungeons that are intended to take you longer are going to reward more artifact power than the ones that don't take so long. The idea being that you should be able to, you shouldn't be thinking about Mythic Plus, oh no, that one takes ages, because okay, it takes ages, but you're going to get more artifact power from it. So in theory, at least, in practice it always works a little bit different, but in theory at least you should be able to go to any dungeon and get artifact power according to how long it should be taking you. Now, as well as the Mythic Plus dungeons being made more difficult just for equivalent levels, there's also a few things changing with affixes. Now, there are some changes to current affixes, and there are some completely new affixes coming in. So I'll go through the changes first of all. The overflowing affix has been removed. The bolstering affix has had its range reduced from 45 yards to 30 yards. Blizzard have said that this is intended to allow for crowd control opportunities. So you could stun a mob, like sheep it or lock it down, something like that. Pull the other mobs well away from it. And when you kill those mobs, like the lots of little mobs, it shouldn't bolster the major mob over there. Might be some situation with that useful, but 30 yards is still a fair distance. But, you know, there you go. Skittish, the threat reduction has been lowered very slightly from 80% to 75%. It should help tanks be able to maintain and regain threat a little bit more easily, although it's only a slight reduction in that threat there. Fortified has been nerfed from 40% to 30%. That should make a significant effect on with trash management and killing when you've got Fortified active. Tyrannical has also been nerfed from 20% to 15%. Sanguine, however, has had the radius increased to 8 yards. This is the pool of stuff where if you keep the mobs in it, they will heal, so you need to get them out of it. It's now an 8 yard. Bit bigger, so move them out more quickly. Now, apart from that Sanguine there, it sounds like, oh, they're nerfing the affixes, so they might be making the Mythic Plus dungeons a bit more difficult, but they're making the affixes easy. Oh, maybe it'll all balance out. No. There are some new affixes, and some of them a little bit unpleasant. So shall we go through them? So remember, these affixes appear at level 4. You get an affix from the level 4 pool, and if you do a Mythic Plus 7, you get 2 affixes from the level 4 pool and the level 7 pool, and at plus 10 you get the 3 affixes. Now, there's a new level 4 affix called Bursting. Now, when this was first announced a long time ago, a lot of people were telling me, no, that's a joke, they're having you on. They're not having us on. They have nerfed it from the original intent, but it's still going to be here. So what does this do? Simple. When you kill trash, any trash mob, it basically, as the affix suggests, bursts, and all players will suffer 10% of their maximum health in damage over 4 seconds. So it puts a dot on you, 2.5% of your health every second for 4 seconds. The effect stacks. So if you blow up a huge group of little mobs, you dead. So don't do that. Now, there's also 3 new level 7 affixes. Grievous. So what this does is it means that while you're below, any player that's below 90% health, you're going to suffer from a dot until the healer gets you above 90% health. So healers can't really afford to let you be on less than 90% health because you're just going to suffer more and more damage, and that dot will not go away until you've been healed back up to plus 90%. Obviously, with an affix like this, you need to be very careful you're not taking unnecessary damage. This is going to completely screw your healer over. Another new affix is explosive. So this is where trash mobs have a chance to summon an explosive orb nearby. You can kill this orb, and you might probably want to, because if you don't, then it will blow up and do 50% of the player's maximum health in damage. And the final new affix is quaking. Now this is where the players themselves become mini bombs, because what it means is every now and then players are going to basically cast a shockwave type effect, which does 20% of a player's maximum health in damage. And it also interrupts spells and casts. So don't stand behind your healer, because if you get this and you shock them, not only will you be damaging your healer, you'll be stunning them as well. Well, not stunning them, interrupting their spells. Bit of an unpleasant one, I think this one is. This is not going to be very nice when you've got all melee groups. I'm a bit disappointed with this one, but there it is. So those are the new affixes as well. Now, other things coming in, just a few little bits and pieces to finish off here. As well as the standard dungeon we have, we're getting effectively 2 new dungeons, because Karazhan is being split up into 2 parts for the purpose of Mythic Plus, and is being introduced into the Mythic Plus fold. So you'll be able to do Karazhan Mythic Plus. So if you want those trinkets from some of the bosses in there that are very tasty, but at the moment it's looking like the item level is not that great, and you're needing it to Titan Forge to compete, well, you can do it on Mythic Plus now. And one final change is going back the other way from Mythic Plus to Heroic, is that Court of Stars and Archway have been added to the Heroic dungeon pool of dungeons you can get when you randomly queue up now. So you don't just have to do these dungeons on Mythic mode. And I suppose the final thing I should just say, when you're doing Eye of Ashara, you'll be pleased to note now that the seagulls will now give you credit for enemy forces. They're not just an annoyance that give you no credit at all anymore. So there we are. Those are the changes. I'm not going to call it comprehensive, because knowing me, I'll have missed something out. If I have missed something out, put it in the comments below. If I go, oh yeah, I should have probably said that, then I'll promote it to the top. Read the top comments in case that has happened. But I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it useful. Get yourself ready for patch 7.2. More videos coming out this weekend on it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share for further content. And until next time, I'll see you later.